The Energy Bus by Jon Gordon. Picture this. It's Monday morning, and for a guy named George, Mondays are basically the universe's way of saying, hey, let's mess with this dude. He's standing in his driveway, staring at a completely flat tire. He's not even surprised. Misfortune follows him around like a bad smell. He pops the trunk and... naturally, the spare is flat, too. He can practically hear his wife's voice echoing in his head. You should get that fixed, George. He sprints to his neighbor's house for a ride. They're gone. He trudges back inside to the usual morning chaos. Kids screaming, puppy barking. His daughter wraps her arms around his leg. I love you, Daddy. He barely registers it. His son wants to play. No, George snaps. Desperate, he begs his wife for her car. She rattles off her own impossible schedule. Kids, dentist, vet, meetings. You act like you're the only important person in this family, she says. Then comes the knockout punch. Why don't you just take the bus? The bus? George scoffs. Are you kidding me? Who takes the bus? Well, today, she fires back, you do. We've all been there, right? Maybe not this bad. But we've all felt that sinking feeling, like the world's conspiring against us, like we're just stuck. This is where Jon Gordon's international bestseller, The Energy Bus, begins. It sold millions of copies and been adopted by sports teams, companies, and schools worldwide, not because it's some complicated manual, but because it's a simple, powerful story about a guy who's exactly where we've all been at some point. George's life isn't just having a rough day. His marriage is crumbling. His job is hanging by a thread. He's negative, exhausted, and absolutely miserable. And that 1-mile walk to the bus stop? It's about to flip his entire world upside down. What if I told you that your energy, your positive energy, is the single most important factor in your success? Not your talent, not your IQ, your energy. And what if you could learn 10 simple rules to take control of that energy and fuel your life, your work, and your team? By the time we're done today, you'll have those 10 rules. You'll have ridden that bus with George. You'll understand why you're the driver of your life, and more importantly, how to fuel your journey to create the life you've always wanted. So grab a comfortable seat. The doors are closing. Our journey's about to begin. George is huffing and puffing when Bus 11 finally rolls up. As he climbs aboard, he's hit by two things he absolutely doesn't expect: the brightest eyes and the biggest smile he's ever seen. Good day to you today, sugar, the bus driver beams. George just grumbles and slumps into a seat. What's so good about it, he thinks. Doesn't she know it's Monday? But her eyes find him in the rearview mirror. My name is Joy, she says. What's yours? George mumbles his name, hoping she'll drop it. Of all names, he thinks, hers had to be Joy. Joy is the one thing that's been completely missing from my life. He thinks about his stress, his deadlines, his sick mother, his mortgage. She has no clue, but she does know. Joy sees people like George every day. She calls them dimmers. Folks who shuffle around like zombies. No purpose, no spark, like someone sucked the life right out of them. You know, she says firmly, you came on my bus for a reason, George. I came on your bus, he snaps, because I had a flat tire. You can choose to look at it that way, she says, her smile fading for a beat, or you can see the big picture. Everything happens for a reason. Every problem has a gift for you in its hands. You can choose to see the curse or the gift. And George, from the look of you, you're not making the right choice. You're living one big soap opera. When the bus stops, George practically runs off, feeling like he got hit by a bus rather than riding on one. That night, he gets a call from the repair shop. The mechanic says, Sir, I've got good news and bad news. George braces himself. The good news? You're lucky to be alive. While replacing the tire, I checked your brakes. They were completely worn down. At any moment, you could have had no way of stopping. The flat tire, the curse, had saved his life. The mechanic continues. The bad news? The part takes about 2 weeks to get here. 2 weeks. George's life is spiraling. His wife's given him an ultimatum. Change or it's over. His boss at the NRG light bulb company told him his team's in chaos, and if he doesn't nail the new NRG 2000 product launch, he's fired. He feels completely powerless. The next morning, he wakes up and stares at himself in the mirror. He hears Joy's words, "You're the one living a soap opera." He can't deny it. She was right. His life had bottomed out. He walks to the bus stop again. This time, he's almost hoping to see her. But when bus 11 pulls up, Joy's gone. Some grumpy guy is driving. No conversation, no smiling, and definitely no energy. George feels strangely disappointed. The next day, Wednesday, he arrives at the bus stop early. He's thinking about his failing team. Then, bus 11 pulls up. Joy's back at the wheel, smile and all. "Well, look who we have here," she cheers. He asks where she was. "Tuesday's my day off," she says. "It's the day I take care of my sick father. He can't remember anything anymore, not even me." George feels a pang of guilt. He'd assumed she had zero worries in the world. "But you're so happy," he says. "It's part of life, sugar," she replies. "Everyone who comes on this bus has problems. It's what I'm all about. I love life. I love you, and I love me." George tells her about the car, the brakes, and the 2 weeks he'll be her passenger. Joy's eyes light up. "Well, that's just great. This ain't no coincidence. We got about 10 days on my bus together, and I got 10 rules for the ride of your life." She points to a handwritten sign above her mirror. "I have enough rules," George grumbles. Joy turns dead serious. "You need these rules, George. You got 10 days, and I got 10 rules that will change your life. Are you with me?" Before George can answer, the entire bus erupts. "Yes, yes, yes." George looks around, startled. The bus is packed with other passengers, all grinning at him. "Don't be scared," Joy laughs. "We always chant, 'Yes,' when a new long-term passenger agrees to learn the rules. It's what makes this the energy bus. So, are you ready for rule number 1? George, not sure what else to do, nods. "Rule number 1 is easy," Joy says, gesturing to a guy who looks like a mad scientist. "Danny, show him." Danny holds up a sign that reads, "Rule 1, you're the driver of your bus." "This is the most important rule," Joy explains. "If you don't take responsibility for your life and control of your bus, you can't take it where you want to go. If you're not the driver, you'll always be at the mercy of everyone else's travel plans." A young guy in the back with a laptop, Joy calls him Marty, shouts out a stat. More people die Monday morning at 9 a.m. than any other time. Joy jumps on this. "Think about that, George. People would literally rather die than go to work. They feel like they don't have a choice. But you do. You can grab the wheel and choose to create your life. It's your bus. You're the driver. And you decide where you're going." George is skeptical. "I don't know. My bosses, my wife. I feel imprisoned by my responsibilities. I really don't feel like I have a choice." "That's where you're wrong," Joy counters. "You may not have felt it, but starting now, you'll realize it's your greatest gift. You're the one who must also choose your vision of where you want to go. So let me ask you, do you know where you want to go, George?" George has no clue. He just knows he doesn't want to be here. As the bus stops at his building, Joy hands him a piece of paper. First, decide what you want, George. You create your world. Complete these questions for tomorrow. The paper has 3 simple prompts. 1. My vision for my life is. 2. My vision for my work and team is. 3. My vision for my family is. The next morning, George gets on the bus. Joy asks him, "So, George, tell me you have a vision. Tell me where you want to go." And for the first time, he does. He pulls out the paper. He tells her that writing it down felt weird at first, but then it felt good. He shares his vision: to get back in the great shape he was in as a college athlete, to be a happy, positive father and husband, and to somehow save the NRG 2000 launch. On a scale of 1 to 10, Joy asks, "How ready is your team for this launch?" About a 2, George admits. "That's not good, dude." Marty yells from the back. "No, it's not," Joy agrees. "But this is your crisis, and it's also your opportunity. Sometimes we have to see what we don't want to know, what we do want. So now that you have your desire and vision, you're ready for rule number 2. Danny holds up the next sign, Rule 2, desire, vision, and focus. Move your bus in the right direction. It's all about focus, George, Joy says. There's a law of energy. Marty, what's it called? The law of attraction. That's right, Joy continues. Thoughts are magnetic. What we think about, we attract. I want you to stop thinking about what you don't want and start focusing your energy on your vision. No more complaining. I don't allow it on my bus. We have a saying here: we're winners, not whiners. The whole bus erupts, chanting, "We're winners, not whiners." George is skeptical, but it's not so easy to be positive. I'm hitting a lot of roadblocks. You're right, Joy says. And that's why I want to share a special formula with you. Danny pulls out another sign, E plus P equals O. The E stands for events, Danny explains. The P stands for perception. The O stands for outcome. We can't control the events in our life, but we can control how we perceive them. And our perception determines our outcome. Exactly, Joy says. Your flat tire was an event. You perceived it as a curse, so your outcome was a miserable day. But what if you perceived it as a gift, the gift that saved you from a brake failure? Suddenly the outcome is gratitude. Same event, totally different outcome. This is the key to life, and it's rule number 3. Danny holds up the sign. Rule 3, fuel your ride with positive energy. Desire, vision, and focus point the bus in the right direction, Joy says. But positive energy is the fuel that takes you there, and you have to fuel up daily. Where there's a void, negativity will fill it. As George gets off the bus, Marty hands him a book. It's a gift of energy, he says. Joy leans out. Inside that book, you'll find a story about 2 dogs. A man tells a wise man, I feel like I have 2 dogs inside me. One is positive, loving, and kind. The other is angry, mean, and negative. They fight all the time. Which one will win? The wise man replies, the one you feed the most. Feed the positive dog, George, Joy yells as the bus pulls away. Feed the positive dog. That day at work, George feels different. He finds an exercise in the book called a thank you walk. He feels silly, but he walks around his building, counting his blessings. And it works. He actually feels energized. That night he reads about the one great golf shot theory, how golfers will have a terrible game, but they'll remember that one perfect shot, and it's that one shot that brings them back. The book says we should apply this to life. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, focus on the one great success of the day. He tries it with his kids, asking them for their success of the day. They light up. He's feeding the positive dog, and it's working. On Friday, George hops onto bus 11. "I'm feeding the positive dog," he tells Joy. "I can tell," she laughs. "And now that you've got your positive energy flowing, you're ready to share it. If you want a successful product launch, you're going to need to get your team on your bus." This is rule number 4. Danny sign. Rule 4. Invite people on your bus and share your vision for the road ahead. "Remember, you're driving," Joy says, "but you want to keep asking people to get on. You need your team to make this work." A woman named Janice, a teacher, speaks up. She explains that she helped build a website, theenergybus.com, where you can send people e-bus tickets to invite them to join your vision. Joy lays out the plan. George is to email his team a ticket to get them curious. Then, he must meet with each person one-on-one, share his new positive vision for the NRG 2000 launch, and give them a paper bus ticket. "Tell them," Joy instructs, "if you're ready to get on my bus, return this ticket to my office by Monday at 9 a.m. George is pumped. This is it. This is the test. He spends all Friday meeting with his team, sharing his vision with a passion he hasn't felt in years. He even sends an e-bus ticket to his wife, sharing his vision for their family. Then, he waits. The whole weekend, he waits. He feels like Abraham Lincoln pacing and waiting for Civil War battle reports, not knowing if he's headed for victory or disaster. Monday morning comes. George gets to his office early. One by one, his team members walk in, hand him their tickets, and tell him they're on his bus. All of them, except 3. Michael, Jamie, and Jose. They walk in together, without tickets. "We think your bus is going to crash," Michael says bluntly, "and we don't want to be on it." The words hit George like a punch to the gut. Jose's refusal is the biggest surprise. He'd always been a hard worker. And to make matters worse, 2 of his biggest problems, Larry and Tom, did hand in their tickets and are now on his bus. The team meeting that day is a complete disaster. Larry and Tom complain and argue. The 3 wolves, who refuse to get on, sit in the back, passively sabotaging everything with condescending eye rolls. The energy is awful. George is defeated. His bus is stalled. The next morning, he drags himself onto bus 11. Joy reads his energy immediately. "What's the matter, sugar?" she asks. "Life is always going to knock you down. The important thing is you got to get back up. You haven't failed until you stop trying." George explains the whole mess. The wolves, the complainers. "They're not the problem," Joy says. "What's the problem then?" "Negativity itself," she says. "You're taking it too personally. Let's first deal with the negative people who didn't get on your bus." Danny, rule number 5. Rule 5. Don't waste your energy on those who don't get on your bus. "It's simple," Joy says. "Some people will get on, some won't. Don't worry about them. Don't waste your energy. The more energy you spend on the people who didn't get on, the less you'll have for the people who are on your bus. Let them sit at the station." George realizes his mistake. He'd been so focused on the 3 wolves, he'd completely ignored the team members who wanted to be there. "Okay," George says, "but what about the negative people who are on my bus? What about Tom and Larry?" Joy's face gets serious. "This rule is not for the faint of heart, George. Your success is so important that you must surround yourself with a positive team. I call the people who drain your energy vampires. They will suck the life out of you and your vision if you let them." This is rule number 6. It's big time. Rule 6. Post a sign that says, "No energy vampires allowed on your bus." You have to be strong enough to tell people that you will not allow negativity on your bus. You need to meet with Tom and Larry first thing today. Tell them, if you're not going to be positive and contribute to our vision, you're off the bus. That's tough, George says. I know, Joy replies. But sometimes it's what's got to be done, or else they will ruin your ride. As George gets ready to leave, Joy stops him. There's one last thing. It's the ultimate rule of positive energy. Your positive energy and vision must be greater than anyone's and everyone's negativity. Your certainty must be greater than everyone's doubt. Positive energy is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. You have to be strong, George. She hands him a dirty, ugly black rock. Put this in your pocket. Let it remind you to find the value in yourself and in your team. This is game day. George feels the nervous energy. He calls Larry into his office and lays down the new rule. Larry, shocked at George's new directness, agrees to be positive. Then Tom walks in. George gives him the same speech. Tom just laughs. Who are you kidding? The only disruptive influence is you. I don't respect you as a leader. You know why I handed in my bus ticket? I want a front row seat when I watch your bus implode. George feels his energy wilting. He feels weak, beaten down. But then, his hand closes around the rock in his pocket. He remembers Joy's words. Be strong. Enough, he thinks to himself. He stands up straight. You think I'm just going to sit here and let you talk to me like this? I'd rather have less talent and a team that's moving in the same direction. Effective immediately. You are fired. Tom's jaw drops. He slams the door on his way out. And George feels like a 200-pound weight has been lifted from his shoulders. He's strong. He's free. The rest of the day is a series of hard truths. Michael quits in anger. Jamie, one of the wolves, agrees to get on the bus but hits him with the truth. This team is a mess because of you. We've all been miserable. Then comes Jose. He doesn't hold back either. I've given you my all, George. I work weekends. I pick up everyone's slack, and not once do you say thank you. It's hard for me to get on your bus when you surely haven't been on mine. The old George would have gotten defensive, but the new George just listens. And when Jose's finished, George says two words that change everything. You're right. Jose is stunned. You're right, George repeats. I can't change the past, but now we create our future. Give me a chance to make it up to you. Let me prove I'm here for you. Jose agrees. The bus is finally moving. That night, George has a dream. He's driving his bus, and it's racing toward a giant black hole. Just as it's about to crash, an invisible hand lifts the bus and all its passengers to safety. He hears a whisper, "Trust that great things are happening." The next morning, George is back on bus 11, but he's missing something. He tells Joy about his day, about Jamie and Jose. The team is responding. He says, but something's missing. I know we can do more. There is more, Joy says. You're a changed man, George, but now you have to be a changed leader. What's missing is your heart. My heart? Your heart has been closed off, Joy says. It's time for you to lead with heart. Marty, tell him about the heart. Marty pulls up his research. The Institute of Heart Math found that the heart's electromagnetic field is 5,000 times more powerful than the brain's. It can be detected up to 10 feet away. We are literally broadcasting our feelings. That's how we can tell if people are being real or fake, Janice adds. We feel their heart. But how do I lead with heart? George asks, desperate. This time, a man in a suit named Jack speaks up. It's time for you to become the CEO, he says. I'm just a manager, George says. CEO doesn't stand for Chief Executive Officer, Jack replies. It stands for Chief Energy Officer. Energy is the currency of success today. And being a CEO means you share positive, contagious energy. It means you communicate from the heart. Jack then tells his own story. He was once a chosen one at his company, leading with fear. He drove his division into the ground and was on the verge of giving up everything. But on his worst day, he met Joy. She saved his life. Now, he says, I want to help you. A life touches a life that touches a life. And to lead with heart, you need rule number 7. Rule 7, enthusiasm attracts more passengers and energizes them during the ride. Chief Energy Officers live with enthusiasm, Jack says. Marty? Enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos, Marty shouts, which means inspired or filled with the divine. When you're enthusiastic, Jack continues, people are drawn to you like moths to a light. People are always buying you and your energy. When you're excited, people get excited. Joy points to a sign on the side of the road. It says, Love is the answer, God. That sign is for you, George, she says, because enthusiasm is important, but love is the answer. You've got to become a love magnet. The bus chants, Love magnet. It's not cheesy, Jack clarifies. It's about caring. All your employees really want is your love. Think about Jose. You can give raises and awards, but what remains is the feeling of whether you love them. When you love them, they'll love you back. Enthusiasm gets them on the bus, but love is what keeps them on the bus. But how do you practice love at work? George asks. Jack hands him a piece of paper. Here are the 5 ways to love your passengers. 1. Make time for them. 2. Listen to them. 3. Recognize them. 4. Serve them. And 5, the most important, bring out the best in them. Bring out the best, like the rock? George asks. Yes, Joy beams. She hands him a wet towel. Wipe the rock. George scrubs the ugly, dirty rock, and the black comes off. Underneath, it's a shining piece of gold. Dust on gold doesn't change the nature of gold, Joy says. It's still gold. Your team members are just like you. They have a lot of dust on them. Inside every one of them is gold that wants to shine. Help them find their gold, George. That's real love. George gets off the bus, his heart full. But as he walks into his building, fear hits him again. What if they don't love me back? He's paralyzed by doubt. Just then, a man steps in front of him. It's Michael, the wolf. I know I quit, Michael says nervously, but I've been doing a lot of thinking. Jamie called. She said, You're a changed man. I'm here to ask for another chance. George is stunned. He remembers his dream. Trust. He remembers Joy's words. The signs will appear. This is a test. He takes a leap of faith. Okay, George says, I'll give you another shot. But I need you to be a chief energy officer. The next day, Thursday, George is running late. He stayed at the office until 3 a.m. with Jose and Michael, and he misses the bus. He's devastated. He needs Joy's advice. His team is energized, but he needs them to work late again, and he can't just demand it. When he gets to his office, there's a letter on his chair. It's from Joy. Marty ran it up to him. We had a hunch you'd need rule number 9. It reads, Rule 9. Drive with purpose. Purpose is the ultimate fuel, George, Joy wrote. When we drive with purpose, we don't get tired. She tells him the story of a janitor at NASA. When President Johnson asked him what he was doing, the janitor said, Sir, I'm not just a janitor, I helped put a man on the moon. See, Joy wrote, he had a bigger purpose. I'm not just a bus driver, I'm an energy ambassador. You need to find your bigger purpose and share it with your team. Jack told me to tell you, he spent many long nights alone until he learned this rule. Attached is a note from Marty about a study of 2 airplane design teams. One team was just told to build parts. The other was given a vision. You're building the fastest, most advanced airplane ever built. That team worked twice as long and finished in half the time. George gets an idea. He doesn't just tell his team the purpose. He gathers them and asks them to create a shared purpose together. After an hour, they have it. They won't just make light bulbs. They will share the light that helps a child read at night, or an elderly person find their medicine. The energy in the room transforms. Egos disappear. And that night, at 2 a.m., George looks around the office. Every single member of his team is there, working late, energized, and united. Friday, game day. George's marriage is back on track. He feels good. He gets on the bus for what he thinks is the last time, since his car will be ready. The bus applauds him. "How are you feeling, sugar?" Joy asks. "Nervous," he admits. "A little fear is good," Joy says. "But the key is that your trust is bigger than your fear. When you head into that meeting, don't be stressed. Feel blessed." She then introduces him to an elderly man, Eddie. He's 88 years old. "Eddie here taught me the secret to life," Joy says. "And it's the final rule, Danny. Rule 10, have fun and enjoy the ride." Eddie's goal, Joy explains, is to live young, have fun, and arrive at his final destination as late as possible with a smile on his face. "We only get one ride, George. This isn't Disneyland. We might as well enjoy it." Marty chimes in with a study of 95-year-olds. They were asked what they'd do differently. They all said 3 things: reflect more, risk more, and leave a legacy. "So you go in that presentation," Joy says, "and you have fun. Go for it." George walks into the conference room. The executives are sitting there, expecting a disaster. He can feel their negativity. His heart races. Fear overtakes him. Not now, he thinks. He remembers Joy's ultimate rule: my positive energy must be greater than their negativity. He takes a deep breath. He thinks of Joy, and an incredible calm comes over him. He and his team don't just give a presentation. They deliver one of the best product launches the company has ever seen. The executives are in shock. "How did you do it?" they ask. "I decided to stop being just a manager," George says, "and started being a chief energy officer." He takes his team to lunch to celebrate. They're no longer just a group of employees. They're a team. That afternoon, George goes to pick up his car. He walks to the counter, and the young lady behind it has a sweet expression and a name tag. Her name is Joy. George just laughs. He looks up and says, "Thank you." The signs were clear. He finally understands. The flat tire, the marriage problems, the job crisis. He sees it all clearly. Everything, the good and the bad, had happened for a reason. It all led him to this moment. He gets in his car, but he doesn't drive home. The next Monday morning, Bus 11 pulls up to the stop, and George jumps on, holding a big new sign. "What's that, sugar?" Joy asks. "It's a new sign," George says, beaming. "If people are going to learn the 10 rules, they should be able to read them." He holds up a professionally printed sign with all 10 rules in bold, clear letters. "Well, George," Joy says, "we will tell your success story to everyone who gets on this bus." "Well, that's nice," George says. "But if you're going to talk about me, it'll have to be in front of me. I've decided to take the bus to work from now on. Driving your car is great, but it's more fun on the bus." Joy gives him her big, bright smile as she steps on the gas, heading to the next stop, ready to pick up the next passenger who's waiting for the ride of their life. There's real power in a simple story, isn't there? The Energy Bus isn't a 500-page textbook crammed with complex theories. It's a fable. And it's a fable for a reason. Because we're wired for stories. You can forget a statistic, but you won't forget George. You won't forget Joy, or the gold rock, or that NASA janitor. The central truth of this book is something that I think we all know deep down, but we get it backwards. We think, I'll be positive when I get the good grade, or I'll be positive when I get the promotion, or I'll be happy when my life is perfect. This book argues the exact opposite. It says you must be positive first. Your energy, your perception, your attitude. That's the very fuel that creates the good grades and the successful career. Your energy precedes your results. George's life was a 2 out of 10. He was a victim. The world was happening to him. The flat tire, his wife, his boss, they were all to blame. His transformation began with rule number 1, the moment he accepted that he was the driver. Now, for many people, the hardest rule in this book is rule number 6, no energy vampires allowed. It's easy to say, but incredibly difficult to practice. What do you do when the energy vampire is a friend you've had for years, or a family member, or, like in George's case, a talented employee like Tom? The book is firm on this. You must protect your energy. You have to be the gatekeeper of your bus. You can't let someone else's negativity slash your tires and ruin the ride for everyone else on board. George's most powerful moment wasn't the final presentation. It was the moment he looked a bully in the eye and said, "You are fired." He chose his team's energy over one person's toxic talent. That's real leadership. So how can you start applying this today? You don't need to wait for a flat tire. Here are just a few simple ways to get your own bus moving. First, just practice Rule 1, be the driver. For the next 24 hours, just notice your energy. Don't try to change it, just notice it. When you're stuck in traffic or waiting in a long line, what's your internal dialogue? Are you blaming? Are you complaining? Just noticing is the first and most powerful step to taking the wheel. Second, practice Rule 3, feed the positive dog. Try a thank you walk tonight, just for 5 minutes. Put your phone away, walk outside, and mentally list all the things you're grateful for, big or small. The fact that you can walk, the sun, a good meal, a friend. It is, as George found, physically impossible to be stressed and thankful at the same time. And third, practice Rule 8, love your passengers and find the gold. Remember, dust on gold doesn't change the nature of the gold. Everyone around you has gold inside them, even if it's covered in dust. Today, look for the gold in one person. Instead of focusing on what annoys you about a friend, a parent, or a teammate, find one genuine strength they have. And if you're feeling brave, tell them you appreciate it. Watch what happens. George's story is a powerful reminder that no situation is hopeless. He didn't just save his job and his marriage. He found joy. He found his purpose. He's a reminder that we can all change. We just have to decide to. That was our journey through The Energy Bus by Jon Gordon. We've certainly covered the main rules and the heart of George's story today, but I'll be honest with you, a summary can only ever be a map. It's not the journey itself. The real magic happens when you read the book. It's in the quiet moments, when one of Joy's simple phrases or one of George's struggles hits you in a way you didn't expect. This summary is designed to help you decide if this book is worth your time. If anything we've talked about today has resonated with you, if you feel like your own bus has been stalled, then grab a copy. Reading it isn't just learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change the way you see your life. The link to the book is in the description. Also, if you found this summary valuable and you're ready to keep growing, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back soon to explore another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. And I don't want you to miss the bus. Let's keep growing together.